Has been reserved in the state's appeal of Oscar Pistorius' 6-year jail term. The state has been arguing that the athlete never showed remorse and that the trial court misdirected itself in meting out a light sentence.
This after it petitioned the Supreme Court of Appeal to hear the application. It wants the former Paralympian doing more time for killing his girlfriend Reeva Steenkamp in 2013.
It's been 4 years since Oscar Pistorius shot and killed Reeva Steenkamp. Fresh hopes for justice for her family. Now pinning their hopes on a full bench of appeals judges.
They want to say that they believe in the justice system and they support the state and the law must run its course.
Pistorius is currently serving his 6-year sentence. But the state believes trial judge Thokozile Masipa was far too lenient.
The court exercised its discretion inappropriately, that the sentence that was arrived at as a result of the misdirections which we have set out at length, and those misdirections are material. They've led to the irregularity, and the irregularity is that the court then arrived at an unjust sentence.
Among them, that Masipa erred when she found that he was remorseful, arguing that she merely elevated his regret.
It wasn't just the 4 shots, it wasn't just the heavy caliber or high caliber firearm with lethal ammunition. It was not knowing what threat, if any, he was faced with. He not only fired 4 shots, he not only did not offer a reasonable explanation for the reasons for his firing those shots. What he also does is he is lucid enough to tell the court why he didn't fire a warning shot, and that he didn't fire a warning shot because he was afraid that it would ricochet. So there's all of these anomalies.
Masipa also came under fire for emphasizing Pistorius's personal circumstances, like his disability and anxiety, and not the gravity of the crime.
With respect, involves the brutal murder of an innocent, defenseless woman who had nowhere to hide when the shots were fired. The deceased still had a whole life ahead of her, but that was denied her by the accused in a horrific way. What perhaps makes the crime more apprehensible is that the killing of the deceased was senseless and/or gratuitous.
But the defense argued Pistorius did show remorse.
We have to look at the surrounding circumstances. And in his mind, and we know what we're dealing with, at the end, it is the deceased Ms. Steenkamp. And his mind, when he realized that, he was beside himself. That's not regret. That's far more than that.
And that Masipa could not simply ignore Pistorius's vulnerability when he fired the shots.
At that person who fired those 4 shots, incorrectly, to be blamed and whatever, but who was that person and how did this come about? Would it have happened if that person did not suffer from all these disabilities and the slow burn effect? And that's what we submit to you. You have to look at it in the context of that.
Oscar Pistorius' fate once again lies with this court, and the question is, did the state do enough to convince the judges that the former athlete should face more jail time? A decision is likely by the end of November. Criselda Lewis, SABC News in Bloemfontein.